Welcome, everybody, to the third episode of the second season of Dicey Discussions. Today, we will be talking about... Andrew?
Things.
I don't even remember.
No. So we will be talking about... what is it okay to interrupt during narration?
Yes, it is.
By the GM. Irregular players within a game, and then finally, if a critical player drops out of your game, what to do.
Yeah, we went over that 6 seconds ago, and I didn't remember.
Yeah. It's a struggle, people.
You all don't understand the troubles of life. Roll the intro.
But anyway, so I guess we should just jump right into it. The first one, and that is interrupting during narration. Is it okay? I mean, my deal is that I'm not going to reprimand you, but I feel like there is a courtesy to letting him finish. The only thing is, like, okay, it depends on how the DM actually works as a narration. It's like, if he has it like, Shia LaBeouf is running towards you, he's about to stab you, it's like, I block. It's like, well, okay, but...
You're walking in the woods.
So if it's like how would you say cinematic and like in the moment narration, then yeah, that's that. But if like the DM's describing a room and like he says, so you see a chest in the corner. Oh, by the way, there's some really nice windows, and you're like, I jump for the chest. It's like, really? I mean, can you just let us finish the description? That's how I feel. But
well, I mean, in the case of the chest, you got to be the first one to say it.
I mean, yeah, because somebody's going to be like, well, I said it first, but you know,
yeah,
it's like,
and it's like. Well, I was kind enough to not interrupt the DM.
I feel that it's like, yeah, prisoner's dilemma. It's like, do you virtue signal and say I didn't interrupt, or it's like, do I just go for the chest because screw the other players?
Because it's like, yeah, in that situation, you also have to think of, you don't want the greedy player to be the first one to get to the chest. Otherwise, not everyone's going to get something.
Yeah.
Say if it's like just a gold-filled chest. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, we are all in the dungeon. We should all get some of it. But the one player's like, hey, it's mine.
Yeah, so well, there's the thing is that there's an issue of player maturity in that, like, you guys should share. I mean, that's kind of the nice thing. But also, there's the fact that a character just simply might be greedy. It might not be that the player isn't, so it's a bad person. It's just that his character would, in fact, not care about the other players, and he would really lunge forth to the chest. So
if it's not a player issue, then I'd imagine the player that the character's greedy could also just wait for the narration.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah. So if it's a player issue, then if the player's greedy, maybe have someone interrupt the narration.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. If he does it, then I don't know whether or not I should like
reprimand him for it.
Well, not like reprimand him. I'd just be like, wait for me to finish, and then we can get to that. But how would I say?
Well, that's when you just instantly turn the chest into a mimic. You think you're going to interrupt my narration again, boy?
Yeah. The mimic is describing him, yeah. But I just think that it's a really genuine courtesy of players to let him finish, because it's also in your interest. If, the DM doesn't get to say everything about the room, you might actually be missing something that is a critical fact to the...
It's like, say you're going for a magic artifact, right? Mm-hmm. And you enter into a chamber or whatever. And they start describing the room. They're like doing an outward to inward description. So they're describing the outside walls, and everyone just says something. They go to the outside walls, right? Well, the guy never finished describing the room. Guess what? He's like, guys, where's the magic artifact? Oh, you didn't let me finish? It's on a pedestal in the middle of the room.
Yeah, exactly. So it's in
you would have seen it if you let me finish.
It's in the player's interest to hear everything that the DM has got to say, because you have to remember that your DM is actually the portal to the world. I mean, like, of course you create your own painting, but he's giving you all the information to make it.
The only really good reason to interrupt is to ask for more detail on something.
Exactly.
So say they, like, describe maybe, saying there's a bookshelf on the wall. Well, is it filled with books? Mm-hmm. Are there actually books, or is it just a bookshelf?
Yeah. So if the DM is imprecise or provides an incomplete picture, I mean, you can theoretically interrupt.
Or if you want clarification on something.
Yeah.
Interrupting is fine, because then it allows you to get a better image. Mm-hmm. It allows you to fix whatever may be wrong in your mind that would lead you to think to a conclusion different than what should be.
The only thing that I could see where that might get awkward is just that if you ask for clarification, and that clarification would need like a check, like a roll check, like investigation or something, then the DM might be like, well, okay, so I will let you make that investigation check, but let me finish the rest of the description, and then you can interact with the world. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I mean, let's see. I feel another place where narration is kind of relevant is during combat. And during combat, I think things are choppy enough as it is. So while you're going to inevitably interrupt because there's a lot of like number crunching and taking into consideration of like all the, how would you say, stats and class abilities, racial abilities, and all that.
You can't forget counterspell.
Well, yeah, all
the
that.
biggest of interruptions.
Counterspell.
As the fireball races towards you, counterspell.
Exactly. Yes. So I still think that it helps a lot if you can let people finish what they're saying. But
because letting them finish gets you the full image. It allows you to not have to interrupt as much if you let them finish.
And this is something that I didn't do, or I've been failing to do, but I think Dawn Forgecast brought it up like a year back or something, and that was that one of the things that you can really do to help make your combats more like real is to conclude a round of combat and say what happened simultaneously. Because remember, that 6 seconds, it's not, well, this person has 6 seconds and this person has 6 seconds, etc. Yeah. It's that this across the 6 seconds of an action period or of a round. There's all these things going on simultaneously. Now, sometimes the chronology doesn't exactly work with people crossing over the same space and such, but I think that makes it more real. And if the DM's going to try to deliver that, it would really hurt it if you interrupt. Now, if there's an inaccuracy, maybe you should
interruption.
Yeah, because the truth of the situation needs to be heard. But,
exactly.
Otherwise, I'd say let the DM finish.
Yeah. All right. What's next? Irregular players?
Yeah, so how to deal with irregular players is our second topic.
If it's one player, it's easier to deal with. But say it's like say you do a session once a week, right?
Yes.
And you have a group of 5 people. In almost every session, it's a different person that's missing.
Yes.
Then it's going to become a way bigger issue to deal with.
There is only one time where that's actually not been a problem, and that is actually during my middle school lunch campaign, 8th grade, and that's because of the style of the game it was. While there was like a chronology of quests, we didn't make a big deal about people leaving. As a matter of fact, like, you know how either we mark the character, or we let the DM roleplay it, right?
For those of you who, I don't know if we actually ever explained in the last season what marking is.
Yeah.
Marked is a term that we developed personally from the Gamers movie.
Yes.
Where they had a friend named Mark who played a character, and whenever he wasn't there, the character was just with them.
Well, better yet, he would kind of just like stand nobly.
He would stand nobly in like the background.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't deal with the situation, and he wouldn't be affected by the situation, is what it was. Precisely. But he was always there. Yeah. And that's why we developed the term marking.
Yeah. So now that we know what we're talking about,
when you're marked or marking it, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. A player character who is there, but not affected or affecting the situation.
Yes. So anyway, you can either have the character marked or the DM take control of it, right? Like, those are the two obvious options.
Yeah.
What we do in that campaign is, like, the person is literally not there. So it's, like, marking to a whole new level. They they're just not there. And then, like, even though they're, like, still in the dungeon for that, like, from the session to session period, they could come back and be, there again.
They're just suddenly there.
Yeah, they're just suddenly there. So, like, it's, like, really inconsistent. But it was a nonchalant campaign. And if you're really not playing all too seriously, you're kind of just playing for the fun of the thrill of what happens.
D&D's lifeblood, Andrew. Yeah. It must be taken to the utmost.
Yeah, I mean, for some people, that's how it is.
For some people like us.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Fireball's not 4d6, it's actually 8.
Yeah.
You get out of here, you...
But,
you think you can make it cold damage? No.
Actually, I just happened to take the arcane tradition of what was it? The Loremaster
from the lore.
Yeah.
Oh God,
so I can make it cold damage.
Let's not talk about Loremaster ever again.
Best arcane tradition.
God, the worst thing.
No, it's really good. That's why it's bad.
The most unbalanced thing ever.
Yeah.
So fucking good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make my antagonist a Loremaster. Just to fuck you.
I would actually feel justified in fighting him.
Yeah. You wouldn't
An
want to learn his
abomination
secrets.
to D&D. Yeah, he's like, come join the dark side. I will teach you the way of
I will
mastery.
I will teach you how to make a fireball. Poison.
It will be a poison ball then. Then you would actually burn the terrain with poison damage. Think about the absurdity of that. Oh my god.
Oh, you want to chuck balls of lightning at people? I got you.
Yeah. Well, lightning ball, lightning bolt.
The mechanics of the spell are too different.
Yeah, they are different. They are different. It's like line versus ball.
Man,
yeah.
could you imagine just poison hopping from character to character?
Yeah. Well, that's chain lightning. That is different.
No, it's chain poison now.
Oh, yeah, chain poison. Yeah. Well, that would really be a plague, wouldn't it?
Yeah. New spell, plague.
And just goes to each individual person. But God, so we're talking about irregular players.
Yes, so not Loremaster. That's a different kind of worms.
But yeah, so irregular players. So in like my campaign, that's fine. But yeah, like you said, for most campaigns,
say it's the fucking like roleplay heavy.
Mm-hmm.
When you have an irregular player, it's not gonna fly.
Yeah, well, but I think that you can usually establish that at the beginning. Now, of course, life comes up, and that might prove to be a problem. But usually, you can get a group of players together and say, okay, well, this isn't a thing that we can blow off easily. We want to make this a priority in our life.
Yeah, we're gonna meet once every 3 months.
Yeah, once every 3 months, or maybe once every 2 years at that one gaming convention. If you're gonna take the Gamers 3.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, referencing the Gamers.
I got it. I got the reference.
Okay.
That's all that matters.
Okay.
I'm the only other one in the room with you.
Yeah. Well, the viewers are there. Maybe they all.
They're chuckling.
You should put the Gamers like movies in the description.
I will.
Okay.
What are you gonna do for your birthday when I buy you the Gamers?
That'd be great.
The box.
That'd be great.
I think you can only.
You'd get it off a Zombie Studios website or something.
Right? Get it off Paizo.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. The more you know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Because I know like I think it's Zombie Studios or something. They made the movies, but
Dead Gentleman Productions.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But, maybe you're right. Yeah. I think you got that right. I think I'm right to some other degree though. It's like because there's the production and there's the other one that goes.
Regardless.
Anyway,
irregular players.
I feel like we're actually kind of doing a parody of the fact that it's irregular.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
What? Oh, you don't understand. When we were talking about interrupting the DM, I was just gonna interrupt you so fucking hard. I was like, no, that's just that screws over the viewers. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
I feel like that'd be great.
It would have been great. You would have been like, so when it comes to interrupting the DM, I feel like then just I jump in. I would have just jumped in.
So you could see it actually leads to like the thought not being coherent.
Yeah.
But no. Okay. So. Gosh, I'm trying to... Okay, so irregular players.
If it's one person that's irregular most of the time, it depending on how irregular they are, you should just consider dropping them.
Yeah, you can drop them, but you see, the thing is, it's touchy-feely about if you can drop them. So I'd just say, approach them singularly and say, look, are you going to be more consistent with appearing? Because if not, we're really considering letting you go.
Yeah, because if it's like they're here for 1 out of 5 sessions...
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
You should kick them out at that point. They wouldn't be providing as much to the story.
Yeah, and people would be thinking about them, but they wouldn't be returning anything.
Yeah.
They make considerations for them, like, oh, let's have 5 bunks in this guild hall we're building instead
as opposed to 4.
Yeah, or something like that. So,
but if it's like as I was saying earlier, group of 5 and like every session a different person's gone, you could deal with that. That wouldn't be too hard to deal with.
Yeah, because
you just mark them.
Life happens, and that's how it is. But now there are some sessions where it's like, this is a critical moment. We need to make sure everybody's here, and you might want to like wait
the session to make sure you have a timer.
Make sure that everybody's.
But as we know, sometimes you'll clear everyone, and then day of they just won't show up.
Do you have anybody in mind, Michael?
Nah, I have absolutely nobody in mind.
I'm trying to remember the specific session.
It was one of Gavin's campaigns.
Okay.
We had cleared everyone. It was like, it was like Saturday. Come on, everyone good? And everyone had said yes, including you. and then you just didn't fucking show up.
Oh, that's just because I literally slept through it, right? Yeah. Well, wait, did I show up late or did I?
You did a different time.
Okay.
To be fair, you had also said you probably wouldn't have been able to show up because it had snowed.
Yeah.
This was like after the session, though.
Yeah,
you were like, if I hadn't slept through it, I probably wouldn't have been able to come anyway.
Yeah, because it's snow. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah. Otherwise, with the regular players, I guess like you should consider not giving them like big roles within your games if you know that they're an inconsistent player, because like you might think that that's not egalitarian, but at the same time, if they're not going to put
you don't want to make the person that's irregular the leader of the guild hall, or you don't want to make them the fucking mayor of a city.
Mm-hmm.
That wouldn't be the.
Well, actually, that might not be a problem because being a mayor is a pretty nonchalant issue.
Yeah.
But
it's like, they're not with you. Well, they're being a mayor.
Yeah, so
they're
just doing administration.
Never mind, you won't hear it. Whenever you have an irregular player, make them a mayor of a city.
There you go.
Questions asked.
You heard it from us.
You heard it from us. The official Dicey Discussions answer: you make them the mayor of a town.
And then
no questions asked. There's no vote about it. They just become the mayor.
Whenever you need them to like weigh in on something like in character, you just FaceTime them, and you will get a decision or a speech regarding this.
You just arcane time them. You just magic the hand. Hello.
No, I mean like arcane time, but like I mean like in game you beat them at like the courthouse or whatever. Or,
I thought you were talking in game.
No.
That's why I was like, your arcane time.
I mean, like I'm saying, like when they need to make a decision as like the character that they're playing. Yeah.
You just like text them, FaceTime.
Whatever you need to
whatever you can do. Write them a strongly worded email.
Yeah. From the office of His Majesty of the Crown, whatever the fuck.
From the office of the Majesty of the Crown. You know. Why make them a mayor at this point? You should just make them the king.
Yeah.
Or queen,
depending on gender. I feel like that would be a really good decision. Give them all the authority in your game so they
you just replace the protagonist of your main story with a player. Simple as that.
Better yet, the antagonist.
Yeah.
Just have...
Who needs Malmo when you got me?
Mm-hmm. Actually, I think that'd be really interesting having a how do you say, an evil or a player play the antagonist. On some occasions.
That'd be really fun.
Yeah. But anyway.
I'd be the person. I so want to be the antagonist.
Oh my god. Well, the thing is, though, it's like you're not always going to be there. So sometimes you're just going to be sitting around, like, waiting. And then, also, it's like, I might lay a situation for you, so this is what you know. So, like, behind the scenes, what are you doing?
I just dropped the nuke.
Just, I got my
You're going to kill half the world? Yeah.
Yeah, big red button.
Boom.
But, okay, so irregular
next
players.
Session. So, you hear on the news, Washington got nuked. Luckily, you were in Africa at the time.
Oh my god.
No home to return to, guys.
Hey.
How did that happen? I presented the option to Michael, and he picked that. What was the other option? Funny enough, it was just don't press the big red button.
Yeah, it's that or nothing.
Yeah. I don't know why I bothered presenting him with that option.
Yeah.
I knew he'd pick the big
Not
red
the
button.
wisest decision on my part. But,
makes for a more interesting story.
Okay. So, I guess that settles irregular players, I think.
You can find a job for them in the game that would explain their absence.
Yeah, and...
Or you just mark them.
Or just mark. That's a good way of doing it.
Now, the coup de grace of this episode.
Yeah, so if a critical player drops out.
That's what it is!
You mean like you didn't know, and I was like, what is it again? I don't know. So if
I was like, it's something to deal with something dropping out, but there was more to it than that.
Yeah, so let's say that if you have a Christ figure in your game, because this person evolves a prophecy around you, Josh on me.
Yeah.
And that player just drops out, then like, what do you do?
What do you do? When the DM next time on Dicey Discussions, when the DM gives a player a crown, what do you do?
He didn't give me a crown.
He's even trying to take back the fact. Like, he's stressing so hard that it's like, Andrew's character's not invincible. It's like, bitch, you said he would be at the final battle. You said that. That is word for word what you said. And he's trying to deny that's what he said, but that's what he said. I wouldn't be this upset if that's not what he said. He was like, you said his decisions would make an impact at
the final battle. Well, it's just that means that there's a great responsibility on me to fulfill the process.
What it was like, you will be at the final battle, and the decisions you make will have an impact on the future. I'm like, bitch.
So, look, here's what I do, though, is that to test this theory, I will descend a very precipitous cliff.
You'll just let me shoot you in the head with my gun, right?
Oh, yeah, sure, that works, too. And
your character doesn't die.
And I was going to say, yeah, I should live to tell the tale.
And that will prove the theory. But anyway...
We can make a multi-channel joke here, just put some bulletproof black on. You sure as hell won't die.
So what was critical player dropping out. So as to what you can do, I guess one of the things that comes to mind immediately is that you could have somebody else embody the character. But
then they wouldn't do it right. I feel like you just have to NPC them.
Could do
for a time being until you could resolve whatever current situation would arise from them dropping out.
Yeah,
and then the character just kind of fades into the background.
NPC PCs are okay, but I don't know. I try to avoid them as often as I can. But yeah, if the situation called for it,
I'm like, it's literally a critical person dropping out.
I don't mind the idea of another player taking control of them. The only thing is that I don't want them controlling two players.
Yeah, but you also don't want to invite in someone who would.
Oh yeah,
wouldn't play the character.
Yeah, because they don't know the setting either. Yeah. So
that's why NPCing them would work out the best in that situation.
Yeah, but I definitely think that you shouldn't have it so that NPC remains central to the. I mean, I suppose you could, but you shouldn't have it so that you are playing in your own game.
No. Here's what I mean. You gave the perfect example. I think it was off screen or whatever. When it's like the connection, the important player, they're not the leading member of the group, but you're doing quests because they are tied to a guild or whatever.
Yeah.
When you finish whatever current set of quests or whatever you're doing, you don't the player would be an NPC. That character would become, but you just have them leave the group for the guild that they were tied to.
Yeah. So you definitely just don't want to have them. But see, here's the thing: is that I could see you you play him differently, no doubt, because you're not a PC playing in your own game. But you could definitely still have him be a hook to the guild, for example. He could just be an issuer of jobs rather than tagging along. You know what I mean? So I think that a great way to handle it is to use the setting to kind of handle the situation into a point where the player maybe you're still having a central role for him. Maybe he's still important. But it's just that you're not going to have him
tag
be
along.
Involved with the
he's
adventure.
Not as physically involved as he was before.
It's just that he is still an influential figure, and he's still relevant to the quest.
The one thing you don't want to do is nick the guy. You don't want to just drop everything.
Pop him out.
Pop him out. It's like, what? He was kind of the entire reason we were doing everything?
Yeah, and so now your players
now
don't know what the characters don't know what they're doing.
What? Why? Why are we doing this? Life reflection. Why? Why are we here? What's going on?
They just go into this pensive state of reconsidering their whole existence.
Yeah, they all quit adventuring. One becomes a barkeep.
So you don't want one player dropping out to be the end of your game. Usually,
you'd want it to continue.
Yeah,
you just have to try and work around the best you can to the person leaving.
Move on.
Yeah, life happens.
All right.
And the motto of this episode: life happens.
Life happens, man. It's sad.
Is life sad or is life happening sad?
Oh, I don't know.
See you in the next one.
Bye. Bye. All right.